A very good morning to you all. Welcome to this morning devotional where I'm Mike. I shall be leading and guiding us through it this morning. Today's reading is Psalm 15, which is this one, and is a Psalm of David, as you can see. And again, this week I've taken the New Living Translation because it gives it, there's a more of a directness and a bite to it. That's the way I would put it. So here we go. Who may worship in the sanctuary, Lord? A question. Who may enter your presence on your holy hill? Those who lead blameless lives and do what is right, speaking the truth from sincere hearts. Those who refuse to gossip or harm their neighbours or speak evil of their friends. Those who despise flagrant sinners and honour the faithful followers of the Lord and keep their promises even when it hurts. Those who lend money without charging interest and cannot be bribed to lie about the innocent. Such people will stand firm forever. So there we are, short, sweet, sharp, and to the point. This is about living godly lives and being in tune with God's ways. It is about standing out in this world and standing apart. In other words, being different. Several of the things mentioned there may not be common in everyday life. So a question, when we are dealing with other people we meet in the world, I wonder what you feel is more important. Is it one, to tell them about Jesus, or two, to show them Jesus by the way you live? And in other words, being very similar to the way, or the same as that described in Psalm 15. I think this psalm speaks very much into the latter of those two choices. My actions and our actions make a difference. And if the saying actions speak louder than words is true, then what we do is more important than what we say. In fact, what we do can be the foundations upon which what we say is built. So following these guidelines or instructions in Psalm 15 can leave us in good stead with our friends and in this world as we do stand out. I think many of you may know that I've often provided meals for Peter. Peter's my 92-year-old neighbour, now 92. Last Easter, as a Connect group, we were encouraged to do a good deed and send a message to those neighbours. So on Easter Sunday, I produced and gave him a card which said, "Happy Easter, Jesus is risen." It wasn't just that. And the card is still on his table today. He has kept it as a souvenir. So the words, I think, were given power by the friendship I have with him and maybe the actions that I have taken there. And I'm sure that all of you can relay very similar examples. However, to stray from the guidance given in Psalm 15 can lead to a long-lasting period of ineffectiveness. There's another well-known saying which I've amended to suit this talk, and it is this: sin in haste, repent in leisure. In other words, you can lose a person's trust in a matter of minutes by a wrong act, but building that trust back can often take a long time. So to remain effective and potent as a believer or as an evangelist, please heed the words of this psalm. And remember that decisions on lifestyle are not always plain black and white ones. Very often there are grey areas. Psalm 15 talks about gossiping. And speaking of others can fall into the realms of the grey, when genuine concern does slide into gossip. And suddenly we're not building up the person we're talking about, but maybe causing them harm. I had a dream the other night, do have dreams occasionally, that I had said something about someone in the church suggesting that they may have had their priorities wrong. And I then discovered that that person's wife was also in the group of people. A feeling of horror came over me, and I was very glad to wake up and realize that it hadn't actually happened. The issue here is that had that person's wife not been present, the conversation may not have impacted me at all. These are the grey areas where genuine concern can morph into malicious gossip. Psalm 15 provides us with a choice. Follow it, learn from it, and you will be effective. Stray from it, and you will become irrelevant and no different from anyone else out there in the world. You will become invisible. What you say will have no bite or relevance, I would suggest. Okay. Here's a picture. I wonder if you recognize this person. This is the journalist and broadcaster Dan Walker. He presents BBC Breakfast and other sport-related programs, again for the BBC. He is a Christian and has been very open about that, his faith, and the son of a Baptist minister who was originally brought up in Crawley. Earlier this year, he gave an interview to Premier Christianity, and he said this: "I like to think that my faith makes me a better broadcaster, a better journalist. It was Martin Luther who said that if you're going to be the best Christian shoemaker, don't put crosses on all the shoes, just make the best shoes. That's the way I see things. I'm to do the job I've been given to do to the best of my ability and see what comes of that." So that's his approach to life, and that really does follow the Psalm 15 the Psalm 15 instruction, I suppose. And that for me is the crux of Psalm 15. Being the best possible, being a shining light, being effective and potent for God, and leading a life that is a shining example to others and stands out from the crowd. And what about these devotionals, these morning talks that we share together? These are a labour of love for me, and my involvement in these directly led to me last March to being asked to speak to a wider audience on a Sunday morning. Was that a more important talk than this one? Not at all. The only difference was that it was twice as long, and maybe I sent more people to sleep. I think all who contribute here give their very best to leading this. In the same interview, Dan Walker shared, and I've got to find it. I can't find it. Sorry, I'm going to have to skip that one. He expressed his admiration for a man, an athlete, a famous athlete, and that athlete was Eric Liddell, the Christian athlete who featured in the 1924 Olympics in Paris and won a gold medal. He was known as the Flying Scotsman and was the subject of the 1982 film Chariots of Fire. I'm going to end here with something that he said. He said, "I have no formula for winning the race. Everyone runs in his way or her own way. And where does the power come from to see that race to its end? From within, Jesus said. Behold, the kingdom of God is within you. If with all your hearts you truly seek me, you shall ever surely find me. If you commit yourself to the love of Christ, then that is how you run a straight race. So Psalm 15 is about running a straight and honest race, and a potent and effective race, which will impact those around you for the good. With God's love and help, we can indeed live up to those high ideals set out in Psalm 15 and reap the rewards of an effective life, a life where the race is straight and true. Thank you very much for listening.